Wrapping up Wednesday's session, we're going to go ahead and review it based on last night's newsletter, and then we'll hop into what we're looking at heading into Thursday. Okay, so a lot of movement, okay, a lot of movement, but these levels are respecting. Okay, in this environment, it's continuing to prove that we have to wait for high conviction entries, take profits level to level, and we got to leave runners open. If they work, that's cool. If they come back, and we get stopped out on them, that's cool too. We take that and reset. Okay, the setups are working. We're just in an environment that's just a little bit more unpredictable with this volatility. Swings up, swings down. The setups are there. There's a lot of opportunities. Okay, it just right now it's requiring precision, and execution has to be top notch. Okay, and execution has to be top notch as well on taking profits. Okay, we find that entry, you gotta lock in profits. That's the most important thing. If you're able to leave a little position open, a contract or something, do so. Try to get a little bit more extra of the cake. If not, you know, it's best to lock in profits here. All right. So, um, let me pull it up. All right. So, uh, into Wednesday's session. Okay. Reviewing Wednesday's session. Um, if you guys recall, we failed to hold above 69.91 Tuesday session. Okay, the 1 hour time frame attempted to set off a bigger breakout. Holding this breakout, we were looking to target the all-time highs. Okay, however, bulls failed to maintain this, slipping back under 69.91, set off. We'll put the market back inside of this 1 hour range from 69.91 into 69.17. Okay, so under 69.91, this triggered the market to run right back down to test the 69.17 support. Okay, sellers attempted to break down further, but buyers stepped in and quickly recaptured 69.17. This was our long entry trigger late Tuesday session. Right, so longs worked. We worked up to a high of 69.46, about 29 points. Okay, and heading into Thursday's session, our best case scenario was to find follow through on this setup. Okay, right here, the 4 hour time frame shows us, we spiked below 69.17, buyers stepped in, we recovered it. Okay, so heading into Thursday, we were looking to see if we can find follow through above 69.46. That's what I was talking about in last night's newsletter. Okay, we attempted to get follow through going several times, multiple times in the overnight session, at the cash session as well. But every spike above, we were immediately met with sellers and being rejected. Okay. So if we look at it from an intraday view, okay, 15-minute time frame, I already have it set up for Thursday's plan, but we'll get into it in a bit. If we zoom in from on an intraday view. Okay, every spike above 69.46, okay, we kept getting rejected. Right, so at the cash opening bell, okay, sellers attempted to break down 69.32, the overnight session low. Okay, buyers reclaimed, attempting to keep the market within this intraday range. Okay, but of course, buyers failed to maintain, and this set off a breakdown. Okay, getting under 69.32 put the 69.17 support right back into play. All right, buyers did attempt to hold. Okay, but as I mentioned, via X and intraday commentary, that to really make the market look better, 69.32 would have to reclaim. Okay, attempting to hold 69.17, buyers never reclaimed back over 69.32, and this washed out the market right into our buy zone. Okay, and something I mentioned in last night's newsletter, if I can pull it up, is okay. Let's see it right over here. Mentioned it. Okay, failure to hold right here. Failure to hold above 69.17 is what sets up the market to test the lower end of the 4-hour range, 68.79 through 68.64. Okay, so after losing 69.32, okay, we attempted to hold 69.17, but of course this attempt failed. We couldn't even get back over 69.32, which is where the initial selling or the initial indication of weakness for Wednesday started. Okay, and we washed out 69.17. Okay, we washed out below it, and losing 69.17. Right here, we get a good view on the 4-hour. Washing out 69.17 set up the market to test the lower end of the 4-hour range. All right, this is a little wider range that the market's in right now. I'm counting it from 70.43 all the way down to 68.64. And that's all the market's been doing. We've been ping-ponging from here to here to here to here. And what took place Tuesday session, we fell at 69.91. We tested 69.17 Tuesday session. We attempted to hold. We failed to follow through. We washed out below 69.17 support, and we came right back into a high conviction area for longs. All right, so I talked about this on yesterday's newsletter about if we were to test into 68.79, 68.64, sellers are put in a make or break situation. For any further momentum, sellers need to break the markets out and down of this 4-hour range. Okay, as I did mention it, this can be a tougher trade. And if sellers fail to do so, it's a scenario that you do not want to get caught in. Okay, so I was not looking for shorts. Okay, I stuck to what I do best, and that's failed breakdowns, especially at high areas of interest. Okay, I was already long into Wednesday session. Okay, from the initial entry that I took late Tuesday. Okay, I went long above 69.17. I was holding some runners, looking to see if we can follow through above 69.46. Of course, that didn't happen. I ended up getting stopped out on those. Okay, and basically under 69.17, as I mentioned, um, the next possible area of action to watch for a potential failed breakdown to consider loaning longs again is at 68.79. Um, okay, we tested into this area and we were quickly met with buying pressure, pushing the market right back up. Right, so when we're looking at it from an intraday view, it could be a lot of whipsaw, a lot of it can be a little frustrating. Okay, yeah, so we failed to find that follow through above 69.46. I ended up getting stopped out at 69.17. Okay, and we came right back up attempting to reclaim 69.32. We failed to do so, and we lost the range that the market was in heading into Wednesday's cash open, and this set up to wash out 69.17 and putting the market back into 68.79, 68.64. Something I did mention, okay, is our first support into Wednesday was 69.17, and longs can continue to work here if the market sets up into Wednesday session again, preferably as always through a failed breakdown. Not a high quality area no more, so be mindful. Okay, so even testing into 69.17. So let me extend this right there, folks. Okay, right here, 69.17. Even testing into it, longs worked. Okay, if you were stalking that level, I preferably was looking to see if the market can reclaim 69.32. Right, of course that didn't happen, and okay, like I mentioned, it was not a high quality level no more, and we ended up washing it out. And we tested into 68.79, 68.64 buy zone, and longs worked better here. Okay, longs worked better. As we were in this area, I did, it was a very high conviction area. I tweeted it out. I mentioned it on Discord, and we got a nice rally right back into retesting this breakdown area. So, this is going to be a level of focus into Thursday. Okay, and I'll be getting into it on this newsletter. So, what's basically going on right now is this is the wider range the market's in. Okay, and so far we came down to test that lower end and we held. Okay, and all the market's doing is just consolidating within here. Okay, that's all it's doing. We held the lower end. Okay, remember we came off Tuesday's failure to hold above 69.91. Okay, we worked our way down. We held. Focus is if we can just continue to trade this range. Okay, and in doing so, we probably are looking to have a tradable low in place for the next couple of sessions. And all we're doing is we're just targeting this upper area. That's all it is. For any bigger sell, the market needs to break down out of this range, okay, below 68.64 to get anything meaningful going. Okay, so very simple. Let's go ahead and see what we got for Thursday now.